Okay, so it seems that recently there's been some pretty big news in terms of a new agency thing that has been going on, and this is to do with Suisei. Now, if you don't know, she had a stream recently where she announced a ton of stuff, and yeah, she actually announced recently that she will be starting up and establishing a new kind of studio or new I don't know how to kind of describe it. But again, we'll go into all of the details for you because this is some pretty big news as it seems like she is kind of establishing her own thing to kind of, run a lot of the kind of music side of kind of her content and all of that kind of stuff, which I think is absolutely incredible. Now, again, people have been talking about this over on the Hololive subreddit, saying Suisei established her own studio, Studio Stella, with also Hololive or cover. Sorry, actually making a post about this, saying towards the new stage of VTuber culture, the launch of Hoshimachi Suisei's personal agency, Studio Stella, and a transition to a new support framework. So yeah, this is what they have here on their kind of site. They say Cover Corporation head office in Tokyo is proud to announce the establishment of Hoshimachi Suisei's personal agency, Studio Stella, with the aim of strengthening her activities as an artist, along with a transition to a new support framework, as part of our efforts in elevating VTuber culture to the next level. Since her debut in 2018, Suisei has been very active in a variety of areas, but mostly centered around her work as an artist. Since joining Hololive in 2019, she's achieved numbers of milestones, including becoming the first VTuber to appear on the YouTube channel First Take, surpassing 100 million views on her music video, obviously great song, but they and holding successful live performances at venues such as Saitama Super Arena and Nippon Budokan. They say she has steadily gained popularity and expanded her range as an artist through activities, while she's still putting all the energy she has into her VTuber activities. They say following ongoing discussions regarding her future direction, we've mutually decided to shift the focus of her activities to her solo work through the establishment of her own personal agency in order for her to pursue her goals as an artist, including performing at the Tokyo Dome and expanding her presence in the mainstream scene. So we have the utmost respect for what she's accomplished and a dedication to the craft. So in a future where Hololive production, as well as the VTuber industry as a whole, have evolved into a culture embraced by more and more people, Hoshimachi Suisei's growth will play an important role and will continue to fully support her activities. She will continue her collaborative and group activities as a Hololive production affiliated VTuber, despite these changes, with event appearances and product planning to be carried out as an appropriate coordination with cover and related party initiatives. However, any activities as a solo artist, including music activities, streaming activities, new merchandise, and fan club management, will be transitioned to her personal agency, Studio Stella. The establishment of this agency will mean the Nerd Inc. representative director and CEO Masaki Takahashi and representative director Sota Ozawa will be responsible for talent management and will support her under a collaborative framework with Cover. We will still be very active in supporting Hoshimachi Suisei's activities going forwards, and we'll sincerely appreciate your continued support, both her and Hololive. So again, what does this mean? What does this actually mean in total, right? If you didn't get that, well, essentially it means that she's going to be having her own agency for herself. She's going to be separate in terms of a lot of the kind of management to do with her kind of solo artist career, in terms of her music and all that kind of stuff, as well as her streaming activities and merchandise and fan club management. That is all going to be under her own personal management, right? And I think it's going to be like the establishment and everything's going to be by this person here, the representative director and CEO Masaki Takahashi and also Sota Ozawa. They will both be kind of in charge of that, and it seems like they're going to have a group that is more dedicated to Suisei, because of course Hololive as a whole has a more like broad kind of network, right? They all go to obviously their own people, and I'm sure they have like some kind of structure there, I guess, whenever it comes to this kind of stuff. But I think it means that Suisei will have her own team, right? She'll have her own team dedicated to her that will obviously be looking to do anything that they can to help her, whether it's to do with streaming or whether it's to do with music, whether it's to do with events, merchandise, fan clubs, anything like that. It will all be done for her, and again, that is great to see. But obviously it doesn't mean as well, a lot of people were worrying, does this mean that she's not going to be interacting with anybody in Hololive? No, it actually means that she will still be interacting with people in group appearances and all of those events and stuff. So again, she will still be interacting with Hololive. She's not leaving Hololive or anything like that. If that's what some people kind of got from this, no, that's not the case. It is essentially the fact that she is kind of being kind of managed in a different way to how a lot of maybe the other VTubers are being managed at the moment. And maybe this is going to be a thing that happens more often as more music careers grow, right? Because of course, there's so many talented Hololive members, including, you know, like Mori Calliope and stuff, who built up their kind of music career too. Maybe, you know, in the future, you know, with more songs and more attention, as she's been doing a lot of anime collabs and stuff recently, maybe that could actually kind of get them to do a similar thing with her, or maybe even someone else that of course also has a similar kind of pool. But yeah, obviously Suisei has absolutely been killing it. So this is why this big change has happened, right? And I do think it is a good move, right? Because of course it can only help her even further to kind of achieve what she wants to. So yeah, I mean, it is pretty exciting to see. And of course, we've seen her doing a ton of collaborations as well. Obviously, they talk about the fact that, you know, she was on First Take, which is absolutely amazing to see as well. But also, like, for example, it sounds a bit stupid, but, you know, the Fortnite collab was pretty insane as well. So super popular. A lot of people were looking at, you know, the skin that she got added into there. Again, that was really, really popular too, and kind of shows you how big she has gotten to the point where, yeah, she's featuring on, you know, Fortnite, which I think is absolutely crazy, right? Again, they say, so kind of like how Kizna Eye works, sort of establishing her own brand instead of just a Holomem under the Hololive brand. And said, yep, kind of like that. And then explained on why there is no cover trademark on a billboard advertisement. And before anyone dumb enough thinks that she'll be graduating from Hololive and goes indie, she isn't. And yeah, that's 100% isn't the case, right? She is not going to be leaving Hololive or anything like that. It seems like they've come to their own kind of, you know, working out, which I think is actually good, right? Because, you know, a lot of people might leave at this point. A lot of people might go, I want to, you know, do this more. I want to like try and build it up myself. So they would leave. But it seems like them and Hololive have actually come to like a conclusion. Like, no, you can still do this here, right? We can still sort something out for you. And of course, it seems like they've, you know, done that, right? So again, you know, great to see. Saying, so she's literally Hololive's JYP, which, yeah, kind of, I guess, except I don't think she will have anybody underneath her. But of course, yeah, JYP, you know, represents himself under his own brand. So I guess, yeah, 100%. That's the case. But, you know, it'd be interesting to see if Studio Stella does take on anybody else, right? Because currently it's only Suisei. But again, maybe there'll be like some kind of expansion later on. I never know. You never know, right? Maybe that could be the case. Say a Midnight Orchestra second live in February 2027 at the Makahari Messe Midgrow Revive LFG. They said she will continue her collaborative, you know, things. Obviously, they're just copy and pasting what was in here. So, of course, yeah, she will still be doing collaborations with other Hololive members. So don't worry about that. So Go is reaching for the cosmos at this point. Really proud of this shining diamond. So a lot of people are very, very happy as well. So some say skies are the limit when there's the this Comet-chan. Pretty sure she can go beyond the stars. It's an arena tour with a ton of dates. She's becoming Miku level popularity. Wow. They're not gonna lie, my brain is so slow. I'm so confused right now. Translating comments definitely didn't help the confusion, but this is amazing. And yeah, I hope that this video has kind of cleared up some of the confusion, because sometimes it can be kind of hard to understand what is going on, what is happening, because, you know, it's like a new Studio Stella. Does that mean, you know, she's leaving? No, it doesn't mean she's leaving. But of course, it's kind of understandable why some people might think that, because obviously they can't really understand it as well. And yeah, I think that this article does definitely clear up a lot of stuff with what will be happening in the future in regards especially to her collaborations and her kind of affiliations with Hololive and all of that. And it seems that, yeah, she's still going to be a Hololive member. Things aren't really going to change in terms of that regards. It just means that she's got new management, a new support system, which will obviously help her to kind of grow even further and, you know, essentially boosting her career even further, which again is great to see. And hopefully we do see, you know, some great stuff come out of this as well. But yeah, that's essentially all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kazo, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.